Hello, all. What's this about the Simpsons? I haven't seen that one, Patsy, but is a old school one that says November 12th, the Simpsons predicted massive power outages. We'll see. Come here, Commando. It's about economics or the four horsemen of the economic apocalypse. Interesting article from Quoth the Raven. Very much fits with what we've been discussing. Marlene, good to see you in the house. Hello, Gleeball. I hope you're ready. Hello, the church. Happy heavenly to your mother. Hello, Miss Felicia. Hello, Jen. Hello, Valerie. Hello, all the mods. Hello, flight level. Whoa, it's ripping now. I'm just going to let it rip for a little bit. I don't think I could keep up with it if I wanted to. It was a good weekend. Did not overdo it. Got a lot of work done, worked a lot, but did not overdo it. I have not seen the interview with Trump on 60 Minutes. And that just going to keep running. Holy crap. Good morning, Mark. Yesterday, my son completed a 610 mile hike across Ireland, north to south. That's impressive. Looking at you guys and all your crypto stuff, I think a lot of you are having some fun with some of the content Zester's been putting out, creating real wealth without putting in dollars. Love it. Rudy, I have not, but I don't think Guru should be selling anything, currency or bonds. I think it's kind of a cloudy area there. I think it steps over what is right and what is wrong selling them. But I'd be surprised if there's 1/10 of truth in all of that. Let's see, Steven, there seems to be a lot of confusion regarding Iraq redenomination versus reinstatement. I think the obfuscation is real, and it's purposeful, Steven. It's necessary. That's one thing that everybody seems to be daggone confused about. They can't lay this out exactly what's going to happen when, or think about the billions, trillions of dollars, and think about the damage it would cause. Waiting for common sense to kick in. See, what CBS showed us versus what was really said is quite amusing. Full time over 100 minutes, what only aired 27. Oh, it always is, Mama Bear. Always is. In war, the first casualty is truth. Carl, was somebody expecting Mr. C to give the codes last weekend? I wasn't. Did somebody say he was going to? He didn't. I want to put on that gold shirt too. Stargate, nobody knows the timing. I repeat, painfully over and over, nobody knows the timing. I don't think we have to wait that long. I don't know for certain. Feels like it's much faster. Most sources say it's sooner. I don't know if there's enough coffee for that, right, guy? Then we've been at war for decades since the first casualty's truth, and it died some time ago. Mary, that is a good question. Surgery did not happen on Friday, guys. They got there, they were ready for the ball, and it got postponed. Surgery, last update, I believe, was going on this morning. But I will see if I can get you an update. Right now, sending a message. All right. Now we sent that one. We can wait and see. Yeah, I don't know why Trump wastes his time doing any interviews on mainstream television anymore. About time now. That is kind. Thank you. Much appreciated. Just Rodney asking for prayers for his mom that's having surgery in a few hours. Well, in an hour. Reading through many of these. No, I'm not 100% certain of an RV this month. I can't. I mean, we don't know for certain when it's going to occur. I don't know how many times I got to say that before people stop asking me. Good morning, Joyce. TP, Trump goes on to wake a couple of people up and manage the media as they try to trick him. I mean, he's been brutal on it. I still don't know why he wastes any time with it. At this point, they should not have any extra broadcast license as opposed to anybody else because they're not informing, they're not giving news. What they're giving is propaganda. I think it all needs to change. Yeah, speaking too hard is not going to get you popular with the mass. No, it's not. How do you handle it though? You still got to hit it head on. Still got to hit it head on. Chef, I don't know. Got a lot of people on Rumble this morning. It just ripping. I know. I got to stay on it. Let me get back to this one. The Fed's out of options. Rate cuts, money printing, balance sheet reversals. They call it policy, but it's really panic. Inflation's eating savings. The job market's slowing, and confidence in the dollar is fading fast. For decades, the Fed built a house of paper. Now it's starting to burn. That's why smart investors are moving to what's real: gold and silver. You can find them at noblegoldinvestments.com or markzgold.com and get your free wealth protection kit today. Again, noblegoldinvestments.com or markzgold.com. We've got an article coming later this morning about gold, too, coming out of Iraq, interestingly enough. We've seen it every time with fiat. It always returns to its intrinsic value of zero. Study the cycles, study the history, study the fundamentals. It always comes back around. Rita, it's my understanding everybody I've ever talked to says yes. No bond news this morning. If you guys could probably save yourself a lot of questions if you would start reading I don't know, did I put it? But in general, you could save yourself a lot of time asking questions if you would read the video description in YouTube and Rumble. All right. It didn't specifically mention it, but no, bond's silent this morning so far. Joe, Mark, I know you don't like circle talk. Yeah, I don't. But that's okay. It's still, how do I put that one? I don't mind when you guys share. Just don't be upset if I don't know what they're talking about because it's their information. I don't know where they got it, who they got it from. I might know as soon as I see it, but 90% of the time we have different people, different sources. The only ones that you're going to find more similarities is probably Militia Man, myself, because we read all the articles, we read the circulars from the UN, the IMF, and all those things. So that is like very common well, I should say easily readily accessible information that you can research yourself. You just have to be willing to spend the hours a day to do it. But just the Frank says got a reliable source, high ranking attorney. And the CBI says the new rate is for 2026. Won't come out in January. I could live with that one. I'm still hearing sooner than that, but I could live with that one. Jules, I don't know. open themselves up for a lot of lawsuits from others. I don't care. I got better things to worry about, like life, living. Just Granny. Agro check sim has always been a little bit of a gamble for me based on fundamentals, but the potential reward for the risk, I totally rolled the dice and bought some. Let's see. With my harping song, thank you, Market Wise. Minister taught, when increases come, do not announce it. No, don't. Same thing works for the country. See, over Target, the White House released the whole 73-minute CBS interview, so you can compare it to the 27-minute edited CBS version. I love it when they do that. I love it when they do that because then it becomes very obvious the games media is playing. No rents. That is up to Mr. C. No rents. I am not Mr. C. I cannot speak for his schedule. He certainly knows he can come on sooner if he would like to. Mello, what impact do you think the Iraqi election will have on the RV? I don't think it's going to have any effect at this point. I think they are on autopilot for a finish time. News time, not a huge amount, but we're going to get into what we have. Let's find that news time banner. Let's bounce straight to Iraq. We do know that the UN Secretary General showed up in Baghdad over the weekend. My understanding still there. Or should I say a representative for the UN Secretary General in Baghdad that has been on top of U.S. representatives, banking representatives, you name it, a lot going on in Iraq. And you ask yourself, why? I ask myself that all the time. An expert told Shafak News 90 trillion dinars are hoarded by Iraqis and do not reach the banks, meaning sitting cash, etc., not in the system. When it is not in the banking system with our design, it's a currency. You need the current, they need the flow. The economic potential of Iraq is sitting under a mattress instead of being used. We've hyped on this for some time. But the real point that I wanted to show on this article is that the overwhelming majority of Iraqi currency is in Iraq. A lot of people, a lot of detractors say, oh my God, it's all messed up. You can't look at any revaluation or any changes because so many people have the currency. A reminder, well over 90% of their currency is in their country, in the hands of the people. We are a very small fraction outside of the country holding it. And that is also counting what is held by treasuries outside of the country. So I like that article because it gave us an idea of what is in circulation in reality, because that affects its potential value. Baghdad seeks to establish Iraqi-U.S. investment fund. They want us tied together economically. The U.S. believes in Iraq. Iraq believes in the U.S. They want to joint invest in growth. This is important. This is something very different with Trump as opposed to a number of the other recent presidents or administrations. Trump's envoy to Iraq declares Iraq is back, hailing renewed U.S. role in Baghdad's sovereignty drive. He is now on the job. We knew he was going to the job. He was having some initial meetings. He is officially there and working. Because of the great leadership of President Donald Trump, Iraq is now back and I'm on the job. Let's make it great again. How do you make it great again? I think you guys know how to make it great again. But I love this one because they talk about sovereignty and stability. Praising Baghdad's recent reforms aimed at consolidating power under a unified state authority, curbing the influence of armed factions, attracting international investment to rebuild its fragile infrastructure. Talks about baking, self-reliance. I'm digging it because these are all part of the reforms so that they could lift their purchasing power. Again, you guys, we talk about it all the time. Fundamentals, fundamentals, fundamentals. And that is what Iraq is checking off, the fundamentals. Kirby, oh, you made it back. That is a long drive. Good to have you back, Kirby. Just saw that one over there. That is a drive. Firecracker Beer Kosh Patel has been compromised per Alex Jones' show. Boy, I tell you, Kosh is under fire. He's under fire for all the normal reasons. He's going after corruption, government corruption. Now they're mad at him because he's using the FBI's private jet for himself to get around. Well, the left turned him into a target. They've whipped up a crazy amount of hate. Their organizations have physically threatened himself, family, people around him. So now he has to use the FBI's jet because he can't fly commercial safely anymore. Who do we blame? Democrats are blaming him for taking the jet for his personal flights. Is he just supposed to stop having a life because they suddenly made all these? No, they made the threats. They have doxed, they've shared information where he's at, what he's doing, whipped up hate and dissent. So if you're mad at him spending the money for the FBI jet to get here and there because of safety, you kind of have to ask yourself, why does he have to take the FBI's one of the FBI's jets for personal travel? Because he can't go see family, can't go see the girlfriend, can't do anything, can't go to a field office or work on the other side of the country. Who do you blame? Do you blame the one side for whipping up the hate, whipping up the threats, the violence, or do you blame him for having to do it? I mean, it's the cart and the horse. Are you going to keep putting the horse behind the cart? Or are you going to put the horse in front of the cart and pull the damn thing? I get a kick out of watching social media and the press. Republicans still have got to be the worst messaging crew that I've ever seen in history politically. They suck at it. They should be dominating. Well, I shouldn't say that. Not Republicans, because it's a uniparty. Find me a meaningful difference between Republicans and Democrats. I'm still looking for it. All right. Got off on a tangent. Ben, you can think that. I haven't seen any evidence to meet that. Got a pretty girlfriend, too. Very. All right, let's keep running. From the dollar to the yellow metal. How did gold become the guardian of the financial balance? Expert Helmtusch's analysis. Part of it's right, part of it is painfully wrong. A researcher in the financial and banking aspect stressed that gold still represents one of the most important pillars of global trade, despite the shift of the financial system after the First and Second World Wars to the adoption of the US dollar as the base currency instead of gold, pointing out the relationship between the two is still strongly linked. Actually, it was after the second, but that's pretty normal biased history. We get it a lot in the world. But just explaining volatility, gold, declining fiat, money's running to where assets are sound. This is all what we are watching. This is because of rampant abuse of the financial system by the westernized world. Otherwise, it wouldn't be running to gold right now. Although if it always been on gold, if it always been safe, stable, and pegged to an asset, we wouldn't have this mess at all. I mean, think about it. Think about all the banking standards that are out there. Think about all the swap lines, this line, that line, T-bills, all of it. It's all artificial crap. If you had an asset-backed currency, you would not need 99% of the regulation that they have come up with. 99% of the funding corridors, the lending this, the that, the prime rates, all these things. It would fix itself if you had sound money. It is artificial. That's why I get a kick out of listening to these financial experts as they try to explain an artificial system that makes no logical sense. If you just back up, look at it structurally, fundamental, what gives value, what doesn't, and you look at our current banking system, it really is a joke. And then they defend it because it's the only system they've ever known. They would just study history. Russia closely monitoring Venezuela's crisis as U.S. builds up 16,000 troops off coast, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, the area. Russia closely monitoring. The reason I'm bringing this article, one, we need to watch it. We were always told it would look like war, and then bam, we'd be good to go. Hopefully that is accurate. But as I watch this one, I keep thinking it is a massive push to get Venezuela ready to go with everybody else. Cannot get that out of my head. Dr. Pops, yeah, I'm pretty upset. I'm still upset with the Epstein file stuff. I think that is one where Trump has fumbled the football. I don't think he's guilty of anything, but I think he could have handled it better. Let's keep going. Reading some of those. All right, the Russia thing. Let's get to the reason for that. The eye of the stock market poop storm. Talking about the apocalypse or the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Then this is Quoth the Raven, QTR's Finch Finance. They did a great one. They're talking about the stressors in the market right now and what we are watching, from famine, loans, real estate loans, auto market foreclosures, meaning auto loans. We've not seen it this high, guys, since the 2007-8 crash. People are losing their vehicles. I think it was like 1.7 million already. I think that's what that number was. I'll see if I can go back and find it for you. Yeah, Bloomberg recently noted more than 1.7 million cars were repossessed in 2024, the most since post-crisis period. That's more than a 40% jump from 2022. Driven by the end of the pandemic forbearance, persistent inflation, sharply higher interest rates. That means they're not going to be able to go to their jobs. When money gets bad, you start triaging, you start cutting out, which is more important, the car payment or eating. The problem is when you don't have the car, then you can't afford the food because you can't go to work to do those things. We've seen the same crisis over and over. It's the fundamentals. I keep telling everybody, just because Trump got elected doesn't mean the fundamentals suddenly fix themselves. He is definitely trying to inflate a kind of like the firemen. They inflate the big old balloon thing for people jumping out of buildings so they have a safer landing. It's still scary. You're still falling, but he's trying to make it not as bad. But it is still fundamentally broken. We are talking about decades and decades of abuse on top of a rigged system. It is broken as you are watching it. And then they talk about a number of other things that could start the economy just collapsing, from auto loans to commercial real estate that's still sitting empty, especially post-COVID. Empty hotels in certain areas, empty office buildings as work from home, so many structural changes, regional banks. Food security, talking about all of the, which is going to hit us first, which economic horseman from the apocalypse. I just wanted to point that one out again to drive home. This is driven by fundamentals. It's not driven by a Palladian. It's not driven by a whatever. It is driven by the fundamentals. And you're watching them. Just like most of you folks, when you invest in currency, you're investing in the fundamentals. The system is rigged. The system is broken. Every time it resets throughout history, it has chased commodities and real things, from gold to silver to food, you name it. That's all you're doing. Bernard, I think a lot of us are in that. We need this thing. See, Trump starting to lose some of his MAGA base simply because of the proof of treason on the part of Obama with zero action taken. Oh, he definitely needs some PR people to help him on that front. I forgot I had this one in here. Largest capacity purge in history coming. We're talking about the trucking industry. A lot of it has been a fall off in demand, which has made it a little difficult for truckers. But now we're going to throw in all of the truckers that are leaving the industry, meaning it is very turbulent right now. But the long-term look, or should I say over the next few months, you should see substantial increases in pay for truckers and CDL drivers. With the risk of the market eliminating 600,000 active drivers, the largest capacity purge in history may be coming. A lot of this is the drivers that don't speak enough language, that were brought in under reduced requirements, where a Native American would have had a much more difficult time getting a CDL, but somebody came in from out of country, got one with all of the reduced responsibilities, requirements, etc. The push by many states and the federal government to make certain that they spoke English well enough to understand road signs, instructions, law enforcement, all of the above. I guess the short is, if you're a truck driver, you're probably getting ready to start making a heck of an increase in income. It may be a different company that you're working on now because many companies' economic plan or business plan requires a lot of discounted drivers that they can hire dirt cheap. And that's going to be difficult. So, a lot of smaller companies, maybe even some larger ones that went heavily into immigrant labor instead of American drivers, they're going to be hurting. So, you may have a lot of job changes coming. But the long term is your pay should go up substantially, probably to an area that, well, what it should have been. Big Swear's right. QF's going to have to use theta edge nodes and theta fuel to power the system, in your opinion. 100 to 1. Um, Bix is right on so many things. He really is, truly is. Theta, I think he has been ahead of his time, but Theta allows for like a Web 3.0 or an unplugged or unpet. How do I say that? Unplugged or a decentralized system. And I'm a long term fan of it, because of its potential. All right, we're talking about the Great Purge. So if you're in trucking, get ready. I think your heyday is coming. I think it is about time you get to start making good money again. Come out of retirement. DOJ scuttled money laundering investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. It appears the DOJ is likely sitting on evidence the Epstein crimes were perhaps even bigger than have been publicly reported. It appears there were a lot of behind the scenes things with banks and DOJ cutting deals. We are learning from some different memos. We're also learning that some people apparently lied in front of Congress and, well, to a number of folks. House Oversight Ranking Member Robert Garcia told Bloomberg that its reporting cast doubt on Acosta's testimony. Yeah, he said we don't have anything on that. Meanwhile, we find out they had a lot on that. The short of this one, he's still being protected. And you got to ask yourself, why is he being protected? Because many of the banks were still moving billions for him as he was abusing folks. Is it because he was an agent of Mossad or CIA? Perhaps. We've heard those allegations, or many of them. We've even seen some very interesting, what I consider evidence. This is one that is going to continue to bite Trump in the butt until he just lays it out as good as he can. And I think he's done a pretty good job. I mean, I think he's taking a lot of flack that he doesn't deserve on this when they've released 34 or 35,000 pages of documents that Biden never released that could have released it. They're releasing more. We're getting more disclosure on these fronts. But I do think a more open, transparent conversation on this would go a long way towards public relations for the Trump administration. Yeah, much deeper beneath the surface than we realize. And that's part of what we're looking at now. We keep peeling off a layer and we find more layers. Reading everybody's comments. We are supposed to have a StacieZ at some point today, I believe, unless she's driving back. Ooh, she might be driving back. We may not get a StacieZ today. See, Ivan, I think the R is going to mirror the original kickoff date of 9/11, 11/9. Oh, just backwards next Sunday. I could live with that. I mean, we're getting all the rumors, the bond side rumors of the 5th. I mean, but the bond, they've been through hell, guys. Did not see this one. Good morning, Mark. You see that one of Crown Royal's plants owned by Canada, by Detroit Windsor border, is moving to Illinois. That's one way to get around it. Start doing business in the States. Yeah, Nukem Nomad. That one doesn't bother me at all. Paul, please, brother Mark, make the QFS system clear that you don't sign up, that it's already open, not to fall scam. Oh God, the scammers out there, the ones that pretending to be me, pretending to be everybody else, getting the people to sign up for a QFS system, give you all their personal information. Guys, there's nothing to sign up for now. There's even some well-intentioned people out there whipping it up. Absolutely 100% a scam, in my opinion. Bernard, isn't it something like, no, it's not that high, but it is still a substantial number from what I have read, but a large number of EBT, yes, or live in a household with somebody that is illegal that is supposed to be supporting and don't. There's a real deep dive in there. Just like the government accounting budget office came back, did an audit. Yeah, it's a massive amount of fraud in the Medicare Medicaid system that does go to immigrants for health care. They tell you that there isn't, but there is. Karen, I have not seen a rumor about a Doge payment this week. Those rumors are a dime a dozen. Until Trump announces it on a major network or his own X or his own Truth, don't buy it. See you, flying squirrel. There are 21 states that refuse to send their SNAP data to the USDA, and those states should not be allowed to get any. Keep it easy. What's the merit of the VND going first? I don't believe there's any chance. Personally, they're too tied together. Think about the problems it would cause if just one of those, the ones that have major swings anticipated, if one goes and the others don't. Historically, was the IQD over 4? I do think there were periods of time, but most of it settled in the $3 range, John. I did not see that Donald Trump stepped in to help Scott Adams get new prostate cancer treatment. I'm not seeing that one. Lots of fun right now. And all right, ask yourself this. Study history. Is this ever going to happen? I know so many people are worried about that. Do you think there's any chance that your current banking system can continue through infinity, that it's never going to break, that there is zero chance that all the artificial, all of the hypothecated loans, the fact that your banks hold less than 2% of the cash that they say they have on them, that you all have deposited, we've worked for and put in. Do you think there's any chance that we can continue to spend way more than we bring in, trillions of dollars a year, that we can continue to have that level of debt before it collapses? Does anybody out there think that we can continue the way we've been continuing in our worldwide banking system and it's going to work? And that's a real easy one. It would take an absolute moron idiot with the brain of a goldfish to think that the current system can go on perpetually without crashing. So that's probably the first question you ask yourself. Is this ever going to happen? Do you think we're ever going to reset? Do you think there's a way that we can't? It's too many people looking at it. They have like a time bias because let's say for 2 years, everything's been great. Or for 2 years, you haven't had a hurricane. So you build right on the ocean front and you build out of bamboo, and then you get a hurricane and bam, you don't have a house anymore. It's the same idea. We have like a bias because of our lifespan or what we've experienced recently, as opposed to looking at a much bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture. It will become very clear. Yep, yeah, it's true. It's like, look, pretty rock. Swim right back. Look, a pretty rock. Yeah, goldfish everywhere blocking me. I'm probably going to get a nasty one from Hecklefish. See, Jabril, not a chance. Humans are not perfect, so we can't create a so-called perfect governmental system or society, but we sure do our best to be good humans. There you go. That really is, Jabril. That's the goal of this thing. I'm not surprised. Wait, what's it doing right now at the Dow and the metals? He's saying flash crash. I've been waiting for it. Been waiting for it. The Doge rumors, Patsy, it's so easy to get clicks. I mean, you're out there, whatever. If you're not always demonetized or restricted like my channel is, then they make really good ad revenue for putting out those. Let's say they get 10, 20, 30, 40,000 views, maybe even like, 100,000 views. I mean, they're making really good money by posting those videos about a Doge check, because everybody clicks it. You all want it. We want it. I want it. Teresa, say, how does Iraq going 1-to-1 with us affect our rate? Well, if Iraq goes 1-to-1, then we would have 1-to-1. So if Iraq changes the rate, our rate changes. Do I think there's any chance that they're going to change rates and do a different rate in country than out? No, it's going to be one standard rate. If they're following history at all. I love the Y-Files. This is pretty cool. See, Kaiser. Oh, Valerie, I got to dive into this one. I do enjoy Scott's commentary on things. Very much enjoyed. All right, we talked about Russia, Venezuela, the stock market. We talked about the trucking. We talked about that one. That one. Food stamp payments could restart by November 5th, as ordered by judge, according to Bissett. A federal judge ruled the Trump administration must present a plan to start issuing full SNAP payments by November 3rd of partial payments. I think the same judge also issued a statement saying that the tooth fairy has to go up to $12 a tooth instead of 10. I mean, they can pass all of these they want, but if it's not based on legal standing. But this one is interesting. The Trump administration's handling it very well. They're like, good. Let's see how this one goes, because right now we have restrictions on those funds. Those funds are put in place for catastrophes, flooding, for all those things for EBT. So you're dipping, if you want us to dip into these funds, which is great, you figure it out in court so that we can buy another 2 or 3 weeks of groceries for people by diving into these. Now, the Democrats want to spin it as, yeah, we showed that Trump, he's trying to keep you folks from getting food. The reality is the system's designed the way the system's designed. It was designed long before he was ever president. He is trying to execute a very flawed system. So he's like, this is great. Let's find out what the courts say. Dissent, sure, it's great. Let's find out what they say, because we didn't want to go to jail for doing it. We offered to do it. We couldn't do it. They told us we couldn't do it. Now suddenly they're saying you can do it because the judge said you can do it. I love watching this play out. It is hilarious to watch the political maneuvering. So food stamp payments could restart. Federal judge ruled that the Trump administration must present a plan to start issuing full SNAP payments by November 3rd or partial payments by November 5th. They have a really good plan. It's called a Clean Continuing Resolution Funding Bill. You don't need Congress for it. They've already passed it. They passed a clean SNAP bill. Congress could stay on vacation for the next 50 years and it won't affect this deal. They've already put the legislation in front of the Senate. Senate just has to say yay or nay. Senate has. Over 50% of the Senate's already said, yes, let's do that. Republicans and a few Democrats. We just need a few more Democrats to say yes. And then all this judge stuff really doesn't matter. But I do love it. I told you guys, I was told by some folks inside the Trump administration that they planned on pushing the judicial system left and right in hopes that it would force clarification to happen so that they would have precedent for these moves. I am digging the way it is going. I just hate the number of people that have to suffer along the way. And this one, Nigerian president responds to Trump's call for military action against Christian persecution. The Nigerian government on Sunday responded to a warning from U.S. President Donald Trump. The United States could take military action in the African nation if its government does not more. If its government does not more. The author really screwed that one up. All right. If they don't do more to curb persecution of Christians by Islamic terrorists, this is the president of Nigeria, we welcome U.S. assistance as long as it recognizes our territorial integrity. Daniel Bwala, an advisor to the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, told Reuters. Of course, then he said that there is no religious, that we're very tolerant and all those, but at the same time, they're welcoming the help. In my opinion, it is the most racist country in the world. Hands down, easily the most racist country in the world. Never been more terrified. Openly racist, religiously racist, racially racist. I don't know, pick one, right? Make all those words make sense. Let's see. Hey, Mark, Not sure you know this, but with silver shortage, do we need to worry about glint accounts going belly up? Like, did they oversell the same silver to us? Ani and no, because they buy physical silver. They don't buy paper silver. Now that wouldn't help, though, I guess, if an overbearing government came in and started confiscating everybody's wealth, boxes, etc. Is there always going to be that chance? Yeah, there's always going to be that chance of an abusive, overreaching authoritarian government. I don't think you need to worry about it, but it's always going to be a possibility. More is fun. It was my arrival day yesterday. You arrived. Reading more. I know. We need to get back to it. What do you want to talk about? Ooh, really fun one. One of you guys sent Side Tech Daily. New drug kills cancer 20,000x more effective with no detectable side effects. They're just taking some current treatments, anyways, using some new technology so that they can get at the DNA of the cancer better. Really interesting. They're looking at some of the breakthroughs. It's going to be in the links for anybody that is interested. I just find it fascinating, and with the turbo cancers we're seeing, is awfully nice to see some very positive developments on top of what we've seen with alternative treatments. Jules, YouTube. If this is the second time they've happened, some of them changed back today, so I think it's going to get normal again. They mess with our handles. It's the second major time it's happened. Nothing you did, nothing we did. 100% on YouTube. Tammy, I continue to hear about 2.25, 230 or so. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Hey, Lucas, I'm on a podcast. Do you do you do you want to be on the podcast? I mean, they'd love to talk to you. Oh, no, no, no. I'll text you after. All right, man. Thanks. No, it wasn't important. It was just catching up on some things. We're trying to line up a mushroom chat this week. Probably a Telegram one so more people can ask questions live. Continuing resolution money, tax revenue, and borrowing. Mostly borrowing. In other words, writing more funny money to the Fed, going further into debt. That's where most of the continuing resolution money comes from. I wish I could tell you something differently, but I can't. The big solar energy coming this week is per Stephanie Burns. Resonance levels at 70, which could, oh, that'd be nice to heal. Greg, have you noticed that cleanup? What about all the law enforcement getting caught working with cartels from Mississippi to, say, New Mexico, Arizona? I'm trying to think of some of the places where I've recently read stories from so many different states. Waiting for the cleanup. How many politicians have they caught? Wasn't it Arizona that had quite a few very close to Miss Hobbs that were involved and or taking dollars from a known cartel? I think it was there. Don Q, better than Bacardi, in my opinion. Don Q makes some excellent rums. Haven't heard any changes in Zim. Yeah, Campfire Kathy, it's nothing we have done. When we call and we question them, usually they tell it, well, you can't really call. If you're a content creator and you want any information out of YouTube, good luck. It's useless. I mean, useless. The only reason anybody uses it is because it's the biggest game in the business. Yeah, Sluggo, be careful. Don't say that too loud. I don't live in San Juan. Couldn't get me in that crazy area. Well, I visit, but I don't know how folks live there. It's a mess. Traffic, etc. Bobo, you definitely need a huge colonics cartel enema in New Mexico. Kevin found some lion's mane mushrooms over the weekend. The wife and I really enjoyed them last night. Fresh lion's mane can be so tasty. You can like dice it up. You can add it to a pasta dish with like a lobster sauce or something. I mean, it really is like a lobster mushroom. Degen 67th. Will used items stop being taxed after the RV, Tammy? That's assuming that we get Nasera Jacera that we keep hearing about and they reset the system. Do I believe that it most likely we will see those changes? I do. One star. About 90% of the time, I read the comments. Not always. Some of them don't need read. They're just statements from folks that I want to highlight for others. It's rarely that it is a question when I do that, but I do sometimes. I'm human. Mellow, right? I've done that once. Has anyone ever found an egg in a shell within another egg in a shell? I just found one handful of times when we had our own chickens. Number of times, double yolkers. Sluggo, I got some mushrooms that would make you see colors. Those are called psilocybin. Huh. Can we do that one? No pay for Congress until it opens? That should have been the first law passed. First law passed. That's an easy one. Yeah, a number of people have. It is weird. No, it is weird. Enjoying some of your comments. It looks like we're going to have some free time this morning. Don't think we're going to get a StacieZ, so let's have some time. She was traveling. She was at my niece's baby shower for the twins. Wow. Son had a triple yolk in one egg. I don't think I've ever seen a triple yolk. That one is a new one, Stacy. I am not. Oh, Nancy, no, I am not going to be there. We are too short staffed on the job front. There's no way I can take off and go to California. There just is not enough people. Glad you asked that question so I could tell folks. Do I think real estate will crash at the same time? Like by the very minute? No. Do I think the days following, leading up to the few months while it changes? Yes. Yeah, I've seen that one entirely too often. Half formed baby chicken, and of course, in much of Asia, that's a delicacy. Ooh. Oh, I saw that one too, Lily Pad. A judge has resigned after allegedly being caught urinating on the street just steps from her own courthouse in Arizona. Yeah, no bathroom close by. Lady takes a leak. Next thing you know, she's a sexual deviant. I get it. I do. Same time, I mean, we got some really questionable things going on. That's kind of low on my totem pole. Although reading on the judge and some of the cases, I wasn't too hurt that she's stepping down. HM, I don't think I've ever had two in a row. HM said I had two back-to-back double yolked eggs from a local farm. I was cracking them to make a cake. Boy, was I surprised. Probably the same hen. Oh, Sluggo, that's a lot of driving. Yeah, when you gotta go, you gotta go. You guys are funny. Get behind a tree, open your car doors. Well, she stay another. So we got a lot of Stacy's today. That is probably the best question of the day. Mm. There was some quick shorting of silver. We know it's coming, guys. You just got to watch it between the shorting, the shenanigans. Let's see what it is looking like right now. Gold 4,024.50, silver 48.68 according to Miles Franklin. Seeing a stunning shift, former unit president for the United Steelworkers, McDermott, flips to the Pennsylvania Republican Party. I'm not surprised. Did you guys see? I don't know if, let's see, do I have this one shut down? Okay. Trying to find us here. You got Fetterman just calling it out. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman blames his own party for the shutdown. I feel like the Democrats really need to own the shutdown. I mean, we're shutting it down. It really is. Think about this one. They were offered a clean, continuing resolution. They were basically offered everything they want, and they wanted more. Let's see, Joe. What would be the difference between some aggro checks and a bunch of aggro checks? Risk versus reward is amazing in regards to price. No, Joe, that's exactly the way I look at it. If they don't, it was a roll of the dice because they're so cheap that was absolutely worth taking. Just like when the lottery gets up to like 900 million or something, you're willing to go spend $5 on it because risk versus reward. Okay, I'm risking $5. It's $5 that I'm not going to go blow somewhere else, but I might win a crap ton. I'm a fan of the risk for, I mean, just some of the most successful people I've ever met take that approach to investing. Risk versus reward. If the risk is low and the reward's high, roll the dice. May not hit it, might hit it, but if you do, you're stacked. Just like my friends that rolled the dice on things like Bitcoin or XRP when it was a fraction of a penny, things like that. Everybody thought they were crazy. How many other people are like that? How many people would have thought Jeff Bezos was nuts for starting Amazon in his garage? Or I know, not the best examples, Bill Gates and Bezos, but they both rolled dice. Hewlett Packard's even a better example. Roll dice. Everybody said they were crazy. Risk versus reward. I might lose 50, might make 50 billion. Maria, yeah, they're absolutely doing their best to try to whip up the masses. Epstein's former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, quit the Democratic Party, declared on war on Jewish voters in New York who plan to support Zoran Mamdani. I don't know how anybody you look at different segments of the population that vote against their best interest over and over and over and over. And there's many of them from religious backgrounds, racial backgrounds, income backgrounds, etc., that do it. But I don't think any is more stunning than the very heavy Democrat leaning of Jewish people, especially in the state of New York. They're going to continue to support candidates that have done their level best to shatter Judaism, Israel, etc. But they're just going to keep going there. I mean, just going to keep going there. Angeline, nothing on the bond front today. I got zero update over the weekend. I mean, zero, zilch. Young man, friend, family to my offspring, suicided with a bunch of XRP trapped in his device, bought it at pennies, now no way to retrieve it. Ooh, that's tough. Find somebody that's really good at cracking stuff like that. It's probably worth it for his family, and that's tough. A family have to deal with those losses. Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. If you don't want to believe, don't believe. Knock yourself out. I'll see you at the end of the day. They vote their temporary pockets, Mark. They really do. They're temporary pockets. They don't think about what's better for them or what's better long term. Ted, that's funny. Girl Garrett really starting to lose faith in this. We've been saying we're inches away for at least a year. All I can tell you is I've been at it 20 years. You got to stop thinking of it that way. Start thinking of it as inevitability. Put it when it gets too much, put it on a shelf, walk away. Don't even listen to me. Don't listen to anybody for a couple of weeks and then come back and check in and see where you're at. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You get to a certain point where I don't know if it's the point of grace in this for those of us that have been in it a long time. You're like, all right, it's inevitable. I've just got to survive until then and still live. Don't stop living. I mean, I screwed myself in the early 2010, 12, whatever period because I was like, boom, we are there. Chuck, I have no idea where they would list a 2018. I've not heard of a 2018 that's ever been demonetized for Iraq. Mac already crazy. I get you. Oh, sorry, guys. Happy fingers. Breaking, an army of Illinois state troopers have just declared an unlawful assembly outside Ice Broadview near Chicago. Those who do not comply will be subject to chemical munitions and arrest. Yeah, at some point, you just got to stand up. And law enforcement is finally feels like they have enough backing and support to do that, to stand up and do their job. Whew. Hundreds of thousands minimum, I would think. Speaking of Apple computers, Mark, what do you think the value would be of the original blueprints and plans for the Apple computer with the inventor's name on it and another name on it? Big money. There are a lot of I would think Apple would pay big money for it and probably break out whoever has it and put them on TV. It'd be great press for them right now. Bella, we have to think of it as an investment, even a long-term investment, not a get rich quick event. No, Bella, you have to. I mean, think how long this has taken. Iraq has spent decades changing structures, developing assets, printing currency, replacing old, now reducing the amount in circulation, cleaning up government organizations. Vietnam, similar. We've been putting in the world banking system has been putting in all kinds of changes for messaging systems, ledger systems, transfer options, the crypto using things like XRP, things like that as a background to move money worldwide more safely and transparently, etc. I mean, this is not a get rich overnight thing, get rich quick overnight thing. It has been ongoing for decades getting to this point. Just like when the Federal Reserve was created and the whole world went crazy, or in my opinion, 1913, all those things were decades in the making, years in the planning for the reset. Yeah, Ruth Ann, she was probably just drunk, leaving her office. She'd probably been in there pounding through with Nancy, needed to take a leak. Yeah, it's like everybody that says this is a get rich quick. And again, when Warren Buffett bought millions and millions of dollars worth of Iraqi dinar, which was in like multiple news stories, of course, trying to find one now is difficult, but was in multiple news stories back in the day. He said he thought it was a very good long-term investment. Our own U.S. Department of Treasury, when they bought Iraqi notes, etc., currency, they said it was a great long-term investment where we've been trying to help the nation. Trish, yeah, I was talking to Zester this morning. She's just putting in for Zester. Hey, folks, Zester will be posting a video later instead of having a live schedule conflict. See you all's Wednesday live for him. The time change, he texted this morning. He said, all right. He said, how screwed up is your schedule? Because he had already made all kinds of appointments for the month and especially this week, not thinking that everybody else's time changes because our time does not change. So I am coming to you guys from the future right now. You are in the past. Cody boy, good way to look at it. The long termers just give me inspiration to chill out and just hang in. I'll look at what good I can do for others. That's the way you got to look at it. Oh, Rich Shane, for some, I very much believe it's going to be a get rich quick because they wouldn't have gone through all this. They will have just gotten very lucky. Hunter guy, probably 5 years ago or so that he bought the currency. All right, I know I need to sing. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I forgot to mention in Vietnam, if you guys would keep them in your prayers, they have like historic flooding problems in parts of Vietnam right now. Just downright, I mean, just cities under mud. Just really tough. Just keep them in your prayers. Look up in Twitch for a bank story. Is there a good one in there? Let's see what we can find. See if I can find it. There's supposed to be a bank story in there. Can't go but so far back. Mitchell, just remember, Mark, the more research you do, the crazier it look to ignorant people. You got a point there. Nancy sharing just in, Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth traveled to the border between North and South Korea on Monday, the first time in 8 years that a U.S. Defense Secretary has made a visit. I see some of those questions. We'll dive into some of them tonight just because we've gone over time already. Seeing if I can find it. Not seeing it. Really have had some just awesome, some really, really awesome banking stories of late. Oh, Charlie Doodles, husband's first day of retirement. Good for him. Trish, that judge lives in my town. She's a leftist and was totally drunk, right by a ton of bathrooms. No excuse. No, I mean, it very much appears that she was just drunk and stupid, but that she was like basically around the corner from her office or coming out of her office and drunk is kind of concerning. I mean, I don't know if she was or wasn't, but all right. Yeah, I couldn't find that bank story, so we're going to call it. I am not on tonight. It is Monday night, unless there is breaking news. Unless there is breaking news, I am not on tonight. Sorry if there was any confusion. Ted, there any banks still selling dinar? I think somebody recently bought one from one Chase branch. Yeah, still not seeing it. Went back through history and not seeing that bank story. Wait. Somebody reprinted it for me who got me into all this cold Saturday. Her friend who I met myself called to say that their 20K Visa bill was zeroed out. Is that really in the bank story so much as it's in the Sarah DeSarah story? Somebody had their credit card bill wiped. I have an opinion on that, guys, because we have seen from mortgages and mortgages that stayed gone to credit cards and other loans that have just disappeared. I don't think it's a mistake. I think it is an act of testing to see what people are going to do after Nasir Jasir. That's my opinion. If not, they are just the lucky recipients of some clerk messing up on a computer. Or maybe the AI just loves them, does it for them. Yeah, maybe that lady judge has a bad prostate. Yes. It's gonna be a fun one. But I wonder how many people that judge sentenced to a lifetime of being a listed as a sexual predator, etc., that also may have perhaps gotten drunk and taken a leak, or somebody might have seen them. I guess maybe it's karma for her. Not that you need to be urinating on streets, people. I'm not defending that at all. Ah, Captain Morgan, occasional Captain Morgan and Coke is pretty tasty with a lime. All right, folks, that's it. I'm calling it a wrap. Gone long enough. Love you guys. Mean it. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Hopefully, we will get something better. Kathy, I love this. Contact them and tell them they can test the community. Yes, see, you'll share all the information. What then you turn around, spend money on all those things. I love it. Oh yeah, somebody birthday thing. Thanks for catching that one, Sluggo. DGen, anybody else? We had a couple heavenlyeth, but sound off if you folks have birthdays. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those who are celebrating, or the supposed male judge who was experiencing a menstrual. I gotta pull that clip out again of that one lady constantly going over and over and over again, testifying in front of a congressional or Senate panel about how men can have babies. I just like, and everybody just looking at her like, "Are you really that stupid? You're saying this. It's gonna be recorded for eternity. You're gonna look like an idiot for eternity." Oh, that's fun. All right, I'm out of here. See you guys.